Okay, so actually there's one more item I want to cover on this select menu for now, and that's inverse. Alright, so that's Control I. So if you have one item selected, Control I will select the inverse. Okay, so that's pretty clear. I'm sure you know how that works. So Control I is the inverse selection. Okay. So now the next thing we want to cover is hiding visibility of items. You'd think it would be on View, but it's not. It's actually on Object, and up here, Show Hide. So we have Hide selected, H, Alt H to show something that was hidden already, and then Shift H to hide the unselected item. So let's see how that works. So H is hide that item. Alt H is bring it back. There's the Alt key again, remember. That's convention in Blender to do the opposite. Alright, and then so now we're going to go Shift H to hide the unselected, and then Alt H to bring them back, right? And also it's good to note that Control Z is, hiding is undoable. So if you hide everything and you just Control Z, you can get them back. Alright, so that's undo hiding. Alright, so now the next item, so I think I covered them all, right? So that was, yeah, Show Hide, got them all. Okay, good. So that's that, and then moving on to the next visibility item is layers. Now layers have more use than just visibility, obviously, in Blender, or well, maybe not obviously, you wouldn't know, but there's more to layers than just visibility, although that is kind of the essence of it for the most part when you're doing modeling and setting up scenes. But these layers are tied into render layers as well, which is another subject. But for now, they're visibility for us. So that's on this menu again also, and it's move to layer. So it's a visibility item. Okay, and so let's just select this cube and let's hit M on the keyboard and move it to there, because if you could see here, it was move to layer. M was the keyboard shortcut. Got it? Alright, so now let's take the light and hit M and move it, M and move it to the third layer. The camera, hit M, move it to the fourth layer. Okay, so now we've got 4 layers, or excuse me, 3 layers, not this one, but these 3 layers showing items. And you can see the little orange dots there telling us that there's something on that layer, right? And so you can hit the Shift key and just simply drag across more than one. You don't have to Shift select, Shift select, Shift select. You can just hit the Shift key and drag across. If you hit the Shift key like that and just drag across all the layers, they will all be visible, right? And then do it again and they'll all be invisible. Alright, so now if we want to move all these back, let's just have these guys visible, select all, and move them back to there. Alright, so now they're back on the first layer. Okay, so that's the next visibility item. And after that, we should go to the outliner. And the outliner is the next place to both select and make things visible, as well as a few other options that I won't get into now. But let's just talk about visibility and selection. So you can select an item from the outliner, right? Just simply select on the item with your left mouse button, okay, in the outliner, and it will select that item. Now you can change the visibility here with this eye. So if you want the camera to be invisible, just hit the eye and it makes it invisible, and so on and so forth. So we can make all these invisible, right? Or just simply drag down like that. I just dragged down. That made them all visible, all invisible. If you have a lot of items in your scene, all you got to do is just simply drag them all down like that and drag them all back up. Left mouse button, right? To toggle that on and off. It's real fast. Okay, so the next item is whether or not something can be selected. And so that's done with these little arrows. If these are turned off, you can't select these items, but you can select them in the outliner if you want to have the properties change down here. Okay, and so the last item we don't get into, but it's good to know the difference. The camera means, is it rendering or not? Will it render in the scene? And we're not covering rendering now, but it's good to know that if the camera is off, you can see it, but it won't render. If the camera is on and you can't see it, you're not seeing it, but it might render anyway. So it's good to know the distinction between those two, because that'll get you into trouble later if you don't know the difference between something that's visible and something that's visible and rendering, or one or the other. Got it? Okay.